Welcome to Rising Tide Startups, where today's most exciting solopreneurs share their startup stories. They also deliver tangible strategies that they would implement personally if starting their business over today. Each episode is a startup masterclass. Make sure you take notes. Take it away, Kevin.
This is Kevin Pruitt with another episode of Rising Tide Startups, and my guest today is Niro Knox. Niro, thanks for joining us on Rising Tide.
Hi, nice to meet you.
This is going to be a great episode. I've laughed, I've cried, I've done everything, all the emotions already before we even hit the record button. So Niro, you and I were meeting at a networking event. How would you introduce yourself?
I'm based in London. I'm 41 years old. My background was IT for years and years, and about 7 years ago, having my own business and had the need for marketing. And had been disappointed by a lot of marketing agencies, started digging into the wonderful and exciting world of marketing, I have to say. And I just kind of followed the rabbit hole, to be honest. I got to amazing places combined with my technological edge that kind of gave me an advantage. So today, I actually help other companies achieve get them to a point where I got to, where it was technology was doing the job for me and leads were coming in. And my specialty is data science, data scraping, and then also creating structures. I specialize in delivery, so email deliverability is a huge problem these days. A lot of people just land in the spam. They have no way of measuring that. I provide solutions and tools for all that stuff. I'm also launching a SaaS soon, which is going to be called, I'm pretty sure it's going to be called Leadtron, which is a platform where you can scrape data without having to know anything about how all this stuff behind me works, which is not a backdrop, by the way. So
it's the real thing.
Data center. I got 2 of them downstairs as well. And, I'm kind of like a marketing guy that originally came from the tech space, mainly in security and stuff like that. My passion is to write algorithms to circumvent systems. That's pretty much, that's in a nutshell, I guess. But, we can talk about anything. So I can blab for hours, I guess.
So one thing that I know my listeners will be interested in is that let's kind of walk through childhood time a little bit, like where you lived, and I'd love the way you describe that.
Okay, yeah. So when people ask me where I'm from because of my accent, I guess, and whatnot, and I was born in Israel, home of the system circumventors, and not particularly a religious person. I believe that Judaism is actually a business plan rather than a religion. It's just like a cool club. It's good for business, So to the right people will say, yeah, I'm a Jew, yeah, but it means nothing to me. Sorry, Rabbi, if you're watching that. So when I was 2 years old, we moved though, because my dad got a job in Nigeria. So I actually grew up in Ibadan, which is about an hour and a bit from Lagos. That is it's literally a part of the jungle there. There was only like 30 families or even less. So, I went to school there. It was like 3-4 kids in a class. It was just like a very, very close community. The area was a bit dangerous there in the 80s, probably still is. And I only went back to Israel when I was 11, and I never really kind of fit, I never really, I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that I grew up in Nigeria. I think it's just to do with the fact that I had the opportunity to explore a lot by myself because of my parents. Obviously, that had something to do maybe because, there's not a lot of mainstream there to follow. So you kind of discover stuff.
Right.
We'd go to the market and, I'm talking about culture, music and mainstream stuff. I think I'm the last guy in the world that heard a Beastie Boys album, like everything gets there like 7 years after it's released. So it's like, but yeah, I remember my dad got me a Beastie Boys album. And so when I was 11, got back there, never really felt that this is where I'm going to end my life at, I always had that kind of feeling. And when I was 24, that was 17 years ago, just revealed my age again. I moved here, to London, and I've been here since. So that's kind of, I've had a lot of, my path was very windy, windy. I did the barman thing, and then I got back into IT work. Then I hated that. I went back to be a barman. Then had a musical career, was a professional guitarist for theaters, whatnot, had my own band, functions, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, about 9 years ago, I had an IT company, and then I pivoted to something else. I had an Instagram marketing agency, and that's when that moment came where I needed marketing. I had a really good system that people could just go on the website and pay, and everything was automated, but I had no idea how to get people to go on the website. And I learned a lot about prospecting an audience properly, like actually deciding, why that audience, just because it makes sense to me. Maybe, there's a lot, and that's the beginning of the funnel, even before the beginning of the funnel. That's where already a lot of people make mistakes, right? Where I'm going to source them out. I got into scraping, like I said. So should I scrape Instagram? Should I scrape Facebook? Should I scrape, I don't know, LinkedIn? Should I scrape Yellow Pages if I'm looking for businesses, Google Maps, what not? So I kind of look at the internet as my own little playground, my own actually database. Really, it's just a database. It really depends how you look at it, right? Everything's a database. So I started testing and experimenting with algorithms. Nowadays, so if we jump to the present, what I do is I develop tools and algorithms for marketing. Some of them I kind of license out to other marketers, and I think the SaaS is going to be huge because that's going to open the door. A lot of traditional marketers these days are really good and impressive and intelligent, but they lack the years of experience that I think most people with my IT experience just stay on that path.
Right.
It's insane. They learn all that stuff, firewalls and security and servers and ITIL and all these standards today. You wouldn't go through all that and then go become a marketer. Actually, in the IT world, I bet they would probably look at it as a downgrade, like you're not a techie guy anymore. You're just a marketing guy or what.
I think that just depends on maybe perspective, because that's
why I said I think in the tech world, I don't look at it like that at all.
Right.
I think I get the edge, marketers, most of them will not understand what TCP/IP is, or they might understand, but they don't know right off the bat, right? Or how packets work, or what happens if a server blocks you. How can you still go in and get the information?
You've got the best of both worlds. I mean, you have such a kind of a dual perspective, and I mean, I've done this show for 3 years and talked to people, like I said, for like I told you offline, that people all over the world, 25 countries. It's amazing. Awesome. I think the best entrepreneurs are those that have a varied background, that have you look at their background and it looks like a bunch of disparate, disconnected things, but it's amazing how it all fits together in kind of a big mosaic. And I'm thinking if you dug deep enough, you could probably find stuff from the time you were tending bar, you were doing music, that actually has some application today.
Absolutely. I wrote an algorithm that trades Forex markets automatically. And I managed to find an algorithm that never loses money. Yeah, it's unheard of. So if I tell it to people in Wall Street, which I have, because I was trying to raise money, everyone thought I was a scammer, right? I went to meet with a company, hedge fund. These guys manage like 100 million or something like that. I don't know. Still not a lot when you think about that kind of world, but still, they met me. They sat down, met me, and the first question that the guy wanted to ask me, because he already saw a demo I recorded, and then we did and the first he said to me, "There's something I've been dying to ask you. I want to know more about your musical background, because I bet it has to do." He said to me, "I've never seen this approach. It looks very reckless and risky, but it works. I don't understand how it works. Mm-hmm. I don't get it." It was one of the situations that they didn't want to give me any money, but he didn't want me to live without doing something with me. And he said, "I can't, like my hands are tied because of regulations and this and that, but I don't know, we got to do something, you know. And I had a couple of more, things that I've done, I think, in marketing that, a lot of people would say maybe that it's a little bit unethical. I don't think so myself, actually. I don't think so. But, there's one particular story. I say it in lectures, actually. I used to do lectures before COVID. And there's a story that I love sharing. If you want, I can share that.
Sure. This is your space.
Okay. So I had, after I had the IT company, so about 6-7 years ago, I started a company called SocialWorks. SocialWorks, it's still going on. It's a marketing agency for Instagram. We just added TikTok. It's one of those algorithms that find the targeted audience and then engages with them, and then they engage and follow you back. So the challenge for me was to get people to use it. And this is about 6-7 years ago. That market was hot. I started doing Facebook advertising, Google ads, and nothing worked. And I was going nuts. So I went on this website called Star Now. Star Now is a UK-based, I think it's an Australian company, actually, yep. But they're huge in the UK.
My son-in-law is on it.
Yeah. So you can register as a talent, or you can look for people, or you can put an advert that you're looking for 3 models or a musician or whatnot, or actors. So I put an advert there, which is like, I knew that there's going to be a ton of applications for it. It was a bit too good to be true. It was completely fake, but I just had to do something, right? And I figured that my low-hanging fruit, the audience that is more likely to need my service, is actors, because at that time it's where how many followers you got on Instagram became a factor when people were auditioning for parts. Yeah. It was, people wanted to use someone of influence already before influence marketing was like a thing. So I posted, I was onto an opportunity. I sensed that I have a huge opportunity here. I posted an ad that we are a production company, and one of our clients is a famous band. We can't say who. We're looking for three actresses. And the fees that I put there were insane. It's like, £850 per day. It's a 3-day shoot, and you get $6,000 buyout. So that's something that I know from that kind of auditioning world that they do. Usually, so I had 900 and something applications in one day. Now in the application form, I also put, eye color, height, whatnot. So I made it look very real. And I also put your Instagram account. So I let everyone kind of wait and forget about it. And I got back to everybody after a week with the same email saying, sorry, we didn't take you. The client actually really wanted you because of your looks. You were actually a good fit, but they went on with someone else that had a bigger Instagram presence. So basically I did that to incept the idea to everyone, which is not a fake idea. That's a true thing. I just kind of brought everyone fast forward to realize that they would need that. And then I waited a month. And then after a month, I emailed them from my company, completely unrelated, cold reach. Hi, I saw you on Instagram. I saw that you're an actress, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to check out our services? And I signed up my first 17 customers from that. And, I'll do it again, and I'll do it for other people if they need to as well. And when I say I do it again, I mean, I would think about an idea like that. I went to a lot of auditions when I was in music, and a lot of them seemed like a waste of time. A lot of them seemed like they're just collecting information. Mm-hmm. And that's where I got that idea from. I remember once I went to an audition, and it was like that. It was like $7,000 to play a Van Halen solo in Mexico. You're getting flights, you're getting this. So, you can imagine how many guys showed up. And it's not that I think it was fake because I didn't get the job. I know how it works. There's a lot of things to consider.
Right.
But I got to say, I kind of knew everyone there in the audition, and no one got the job.
Yeah, that's the telltale sign right there, is that not that you
No
didn't
one
get
got
it,
the
but did
job.
anybody get it?
No,
Exactly.
exactly. It's like doing a raffle, win an iPhone and then no one gets it. I was like, so, and that happened to me many times because I was known on the circles here. I was an infamous rock guitarist for a while. And I would show up to auditions sometimes, and a few guys on the queue would say, guys, he's here, let's go home, like that. And I was like, someone's gotta get it. No one got it. I was like, hey man, I want to get the Mexico job. Nobody. So, and that is where I got the idea from. And I thought, I can start thinking about being ethical or whatever. I wasn't hurting anybody. It took everyone literally 5 minutes, even less, to fill out that application. And we signed them up. We did really good work for them. We still work with big models. Some of them are huge today. So as I like to think out of the box, I think before we did this, when we were just chatting, I was saying about, for me, the distinction for an entrepreneur, for what they gotta be, is that trailblazing quality. You gotta be able to, you gotta want to go where there's no path yet, and it's scary and it's not hard, and a lot of the times there's nothing there, but you gotta ask yourself, it's not been done because no one managed to do it or because no one dared. When people say to me, it can't be done, I'm like, let's break that down for a second. What does that mean? It can't be done. It means 4 people tried and failed, 60 people tried and failed, maybe only stupid people tried and failed. I don't know. I mean, that might sound horrible for me to say, but look, you got to consider everything, right? Maybe the wrong person tried, maybe it was the wrong time. Maybe now we got better technology to try. So I don't like when people tell me it can't be done. It almost as if that's kind of the way to lure me into something. Yeah. Yeah. And I kind of, I kind of had to accept that about myself. I like a good challenge. It's a great feeling when you get it to work, and I think the customers that came to me to do campaigns for them, the ones that seemed the most challenging ones that I figured, I don't know if it's going to work. The ones I was afraid the most, those are the ones that work better. I think because I went to town on it. I was just like, I have to. If I can't find this solution, no one will. So I better justify that when I say that. Yeah, I'm very passionate about that stuff. But for me, if any entrepreneurs are watching this, so that's the distinction, and you make sure you fulfill that distinction every day. You gotta go and work. And you got to go to those places where no one wants to go, and gently and safely, but you got to keep expanding that comfort zone. Otherwise, people think that you're, I was about to say, I remember that first interview I saw about Mark Zuckerberg, and you see him all with a suit in his 5-bedroom apartment in Manhattan. Nobody cares. Even nobody saw his student years,
That's for sure. That's it. Yeah, he was eating a lot of ramen noodles and.
Of course, but he didn't mind. He didn't mind. I give. That's the thing, you'll be the happiest person ever to eat food from a tin, because you go to sleep and you wake up to something that you absolutely love and passionate about. Facebook wouldn't have succeeded if it didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. There were a lot of people trying to do stuff like that, and MySpace was already around.
Yeah, MySpace had a lot of money behind it too. Yeah, a lot of backing. So it's interesting to hear your story. I mean, nothing truly, even going back to your time in Nigeria, nothing's wasted, because I mean, you probably, call on things in your mind and your heart that, you experienced as 8 years old or 15 or whatever. But I do want to encourage our listeners that are either listening to this or watching this, get on YouTube and look up Niro, because there's some really cool music videos that are on there. Because I've spent some time this morning looking at those before we jumped on the chat here. So yeah,
I didn't even know this kind of interview then.
Didn't even know who I had asked to come on the show.
Let me get my sunglasses.
Exactly. Well,
it's like Spider-Man, it's like you got 2 lives.
No, I think you got more than that. I think you're more like a cat. You may have 9, for sure. So, Niro, drill down a little bit, just kind of in the business today. I mean, if there's 1 or 2 things that really stand out, I mean, that you think would help people that are further behind you on the journey, that, say, this is really kind of my vision. This is what drives me. Every day I get up, and these are the 2 or 3 things that are just in my mind all the time, regardless of the project I'm working on.
All right. Take care of yourself before everything else. I gotta say, man, I still got bad days like everybody. You wake up, and I'd rather talk about that in an interview like this rather than all the shiny stuff and the success and the money and whatnot. Take care of yourself every day. When the day starts, it's all about you. It's not about the stuff you gotta do and the people you promise you do this and that. It's fine, do everything you promise, be your word, as they say. But you gotta take good care of yourself. That might sound a bit, your body and your mind, and it's all, you are the force. Without you, the business is gone. And so that's the first thing I would say. And that takes care of those dark mornings. We all have them. And sometimes you go to sleep, you think you're going to have a great day, and it just creeps up on you. You wake up in the morning and you don't want to get out of bed. Make yourself, be unreasonable when you get out of bed. I don't mean wear a bunny suit. I mean unreasonable in the sense of you don't need a reason. You go out because we look for a reason to go out of bed. Don't have one. Go out of bed anyway. Before you know it, you don't need a reason. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Be unreasonable. And that's pretty much everything I do. I'm like, this got to get done. I don't care. I'm like a pit bull on crack. This is going to get done. I don't care anymore about the reasons. They're not the reasons of this and this and that. So that's one thing. And the other one is, don't be in the moment. Don't be afraid. It's not going to work. It's going to work. Actually, I think the hardest thing for human beings to do on this planet is to connect to another person. That is always the scariest challenge of all. That's why we got all these keyboard warriors, now, because you can hide behind it. Because when I decided to launch Social Works and leave my IT company, I had an IT company, I was making 5 figures a month. That was pretty good in pounds sterling. I had a penthouse in Covent Garden, if you know where that is.
Yep.
3-bedroom penthouse in Covent Garden. That was not cheap, and I just decided, it wasn't one day. I felt that feeling for a long time, but I just said, you know what, if I'm going to wait for the time to be right, I'm never going to do it. And I called up all my clients and I said, guys, I'm shutting it down. I kept 2 because they were like personal friends and I still, I helped them. But I said, I don't want to do IT no more. No passion. What are you going to do? I don't know, but I know I don't want to do this. And, I started the Social Works out of my own need for my band at the time. I said, let's get this band huge. Let's get us 1 million. What if 1 million people heard my song? 1 million people. Let's reach out to 1 million people, and they say aim for the stars. Like I got us in like a month, 100,000 views with all these robots and all that kind of stuff. I got 100,000 real people to check it out and see it, and that got assigned to a company in Paris, and, they paid for our next 2 albums, and it was amazing. And on the back of that, I was also, I started marketing these 2 bands. Then I realized bands are broke. It's London, bands are broke here. So I pivoted to actors and models. Mm-hmm. And, this was the biggest business I've had for a long time, until 3 years ago. I started saying, right, now I got everything I wanted. I realized also that you don't need to have $1 million to get everything you want. Show me one person who's not going to be happy with 100 grand in their account right now, even 67 grand. You know what I mean? It bought me the stuff that I wanted, the materialistic stuff. It got me to live where I wanted, all that kind of stuff. And then the next phase came and said, other people, your environment. your environment, started connecting. I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was. I thought it was in French because it sounds, entrepreneur. It sounds like I didn't know what it was. I'm quite ignorant when it comes to that kind of stuff. Ignorant by choice, though, um, and I started saying, like I could take that system, in social books. I had a computer that I would literally just turn the software on every morning, and 100 leads would funnel in every day. And one of my mates who worked in construction, actually, he had a joinery and all that kind of stuff. He said to me, "You know how much people will pay you for 100 leads a day?" And it wasn't that the money that got me, but it was the fact that he was stressing about the necessity of something like that. And I said, well, it's not going to work for every business because it's different audience, but it's a good place to start. I started connecting with a few businesses. I did a couple of pro bonos just to get
Good work. Yeah.
Yeah. And, people were over the moon. People start to call you and call you names like a genius and, stuff like that. And you're like, okay, I mean, for me, this is what I do all the time. So I don't get excited about it. And then I started getting really excited. Yeah, it's like I don't have kids, but a lot of my friends say that when you have a kid, it allows you to reignite your wonder for every little thing in the world, because the way they are excited about a little doll and, it gets you. So for me, it was like that. Some business owner that just started, honestly, I don't know how they would have done it without doing it the way that I did it for them. Okay, maybe they would have gone to a traditional marketing agency and get some investment. Maybe they could have still make it through. I'm not saying they wouldn't have, but to see someone filled with joy, people sending me messages saying, what you did kickstart not the business, but kickstart my passion for this business. Like, and then you see someone, I feel like they're working for me, even though we're different companies, but it's like almost we're like a mini little team. So right now, for example, I don't take more than 3 clients at the same time because I want to allow myself to be emotionally invested in what we do. And I say that to every customer. I always say to them, you're not working in front of me, you're working beside me, we're working together. I am a temporary employee in your company. That's how I'm looking at it. Like we're working together, we're a team. Let's get some teamwork done. We do everything team style. If there's a problem, it's not you against me, it's us together against the problem. Stuff like that, and I work with a lot of, if there's anything, apart from the money, it's the, it's the amazing people that I got to know and see. And it kind of helps you get off your high horse as well, because that's dangerous place to be in. It's a very.
You only got 3 clients, though. You kind of get to pick and choose who you want to work with. I mean, you certainly can be very selective.
Yeah, and it's financially very good as well, because you can select quality clientele. But I gotta say, having said that, I still do once a month. I take a pro bono as well.
Yeah.
And I choose something from the other side of the spectrum. Someone who could definitely make it, and all they need is that push from me. I won't take someone and mentor them. I need someone that, it's someone that is already there. It's like everything else today. And no one wants, investors don't want to invest in an MPV. They know there's another guy that already went and did it. And, he's a single dad and he put everything he had on this. And that's the guy you want to invest in, right? And it's the same with the music companies. In the 80s, you wrote a good song, you showed it at their office, plate on acoustic guitar, and they say, here's 80 grand, contract for 2 albums. Now you gotta have 1 million followers until they won't even look at you. And very soon enough, you won't need record labels, because the platforms allow you to reach everyone without it, without distribution, without all that crap.
Well, you're on the cutting edge, though, of on that, I think the platform itself. I think that's true in marketing. You're talking about, the fact that you can use these platforms, just like music has different platforms to share. I mean, through digital marketing and lead generation and whatever the spaces that you're working in right now. And as we're wrapping up today, so kind of just tell us like as listeners, just say, what's one thing that you know now that you wish you would have known when you kind of started your business that you think would have been a game changer for you?
It's so hard to imagine. It reminds me of something that someone asked me the other week. What would you tell? No, what was it? He said, what would you tell if you had a time machine and you could deliver one message to yourself? What would it be? And you know what I said to her? I said, stop worrying all the time. You're gonna do just fine. If I do everything with love, yeah, that's the thing that I didn't know that I thought would change at least the experience. But I gotta say, it wasn't a fun journey. Now it's a fun journey. Now I look at a challenge with a blessing, but it wasn't, and I've suffered, and I was the one making myself suffer. So, if anyone watching this, don't do this to yourself. It's okay, it's okay to be a Humpty Dumpty all the time, just put yourself back together and keep going, rolling with the punches. I thought that, I was just so, everything would wind me up, and it's just not worth it. You're going to get there at the time you're going to have to get there. So enjoy the ride.
What a way to, I love it. What a way to wrap it up. It's been such I knew this ride was going to be a little unique and like a winding river. And I love those stories. The straight lines are for engineers. So, man, I'm glad to just hear your story. Tell us where the best place people can find you online. So maybe be one of those 3 a month that you get to work with.
LinkedIn, and I got time for everyone. Even if it takes me a little bit to respond, I will talk to anyone about everything. As long as you're a human being, from our I don't know about other species, but as long as you're with the same species, I'll talk to you. We all matter. I care about everyone. I'm not going to be here forever. So, I don't think I'm anything special, and I'm really not. I'd love to talk to anyone, especially if anyone got inspired by this. I know that we'll connect probably the same way I connected with you,
Well, Niro, thank you again for just taking time. And I encourage people to check out the music aspect of Niro's history. And it is really, really good. I understand why some people would walk out of line and go back home after they saw him show up. So just really appreciate you taking time to share your story and just really playing your part in helping all boats rise in a rising tide. Niro, have a great day.
My pleasure. You too. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Another episode in the books. We hope you heard some great takeaways. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review on iTunes and YouTube. As always, thanks for listening to Rising Tide.